to Q&A in just a moment, but I think, Bernice, we can cut our live stream feed at this time. Thank you for those of you joining us on YouTube. And once we have cut that, we will go into Q&A. So Bernice, you let me know when we're ready to go. Bernice, are we ready? Sorry to cut you short there, Yasha, but great point. Really important.
Sorry.
No. It's I'm glad you cover that.
It
Bernice, how
is
are we doing with
becoming
the?
very expensive to do the business.
Yeah. But the PCCP is interesting, and certainly that's worthwhile, as you mentioned, Christine, for our cohort companies to go online and just read the updates from the US FDA on that.
It's challenging too, though, because, I know a lot of companies, and founders right now, they're just like, I just want to do my bare minimum product and get it to market. Step
Right,
one.
right. Bernice, are we ready to go into Q&A? Okay. In the interest of time, we're going to go into Q&A anyway, whether we're live streaming or not. So let's call up some of our cohort companies here that have raised questions. I think the first one I have here is from Ella at Rosalind DX. So if we have Ella here, you can just unmute yourself and feel free to ask the question. Do we have Ella here? There we go.
Hi, yes.
Hi, morning.
Hi, thank you so much for all your sharing. This has been extremely valuable. We are a diagnostics company, and we know that the product we're developing, all of the existing ones have gone through the LDT pathway. So I was very curious, what's your take on the viability of the LDT pathway going forward? Do you expect it to stay open, or do you see FDA oversight becoming unavoidable in the long run? Thanks.
It is so volatile right now, so hit or miss. Definitely stay on top of all of the news. I know it's been a hot topic between major medical device LDT lab diagnostic companies and smaller companies and regulators. And so really is not a great kind of foresight on what that could look like. But would love to chat about this offline together as well and stay in touch, and just stay on top of it. I really have if I had a crystal ball, I wish I could have a good answer for this.
Thanks, Christine. On that note, by the way, Christine, Daniel, Yasha, are you okay that we share your contact details with the cohort companies?
Yes,
So they're able to reach
Yeah,
out to you if they have
yeah.
any questions. Greatly appreciate that. Next up, we have Deblina from Two Strands
Sorry,
Biosciences.
may I?
Yeah, sorry, Yasha, please go ahead.
I just want to chat about this. I mean, I agree with Christine, right? We wish we have a crystal ball we don't have. But I think this is a legit question. It's like we all have this question, right? Even from Roche side. I mean, we are probably on the other side. We're more into the commercial IVD market. So this is also something that is an impact on us. I would say this is not a regulatory science topic, rather it's a policy one, right? Because from a science perspective, I think we definitely have seen the problem of the, lack of, I would say, risk appropriate oversight of certain LDTs in the US. So that's why there's some attempt from US FDA try to kind of really create that level playing field also, right? Even a level free play field for like different players in the IVD industry. So, but having said that, right, as it's a policy topic, I think then there's this different political factors come into play. So it's a little bit difficult to predict, but I would really encourage, right, to explore the other way, right? Instead of just sticking to this one and hoping that nothing will change, because we see maybe in the long run, I think that's coming. If you look at other markets, right, what we are doing, all the other markets around LDT, you can actually see there's, for example, Australia is a good example. So I would recommend you to also research on that one. So you can see that they are trying to at least bring in the high risk LDTs almost to similar standards as commercial IVDs. And of course, China then is going to totally the other extreme, that it's basically killed, not inhibited. Now they're trying to slowly open up, but in a very, very controlled way. So I'd say all of these trends globally might also have an impact on how other, even US as a top mature regulator, how they will operate in the long run. So I can only share that.
Yeah, good point. Thanks, Yasha. We have actually the next question is on LDT pathways as well. So if we have Deblina here from Two Strands Biosciences, please feel free to ask your question or let us know if your question has been at least partially answered.
Hi.
Morning, Deblina.
Morning. Yeah, thanks for the very generous and useful sharing. It's
Sorry, can you speak up slightly? It's a little bit muted.
do you hear me now?
Yeah, much better. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks for the very generous and insightful sharing. It's been very helpful. So yes, my question is also around the LDT pathway. We are a diagnostic company developing a MRD, liquid biopsy test. So initially, our plan is also to follow the LDT path with an eye for an eventual FDA breakthrough device designation. So I'd like your guidance on 2 points. First, the scope of LDT status. So if we design and manufacture the assays, but partner with multiple CLIA labs to run the test, would this still qualify as an LDT under FDA's definition, or at that point, because it's being distributed to more than one user, come under FDA review as an IVD? So that's like one question. Or is the advice to stick to a single CLIA lab within US in order to, remain an LDT? And then the second question is, does obtaining LDT status in US provide any regulatory recognitions outside US, whether in Europe or APAC? And having, marketing this outside of US in a separate laboratory, clinical laboratory, does that impact the LDT status in US? Hopefully I was clear on what I was trying to ask. It's a few questions.
Yeah, thanks for the questions. I'll turn to Yasha or Christine on this.
Yeah, I can share, and Christine, feel free to jump in. I think the definition of the scope, I would just simplify it. So first is about who developed or manufactures it, right? It has to be developed and manufactured by a single lab. Second is where to use it. It can only be used in a single lab that develops it. So I guess that the first question is clear. Then if it's, it doesn't really meet what I just said, right? Developed and used in that lab, then it's no longer LDT. Then it's a commercial IVD. How US FDA will interpret that, how long the transition or whatever this vacuum period will stay, I don't know. But that's how we strictly define it. What is LDT? By definition, lab developed test has to be developed by a lab. And some countries have slightly different definition. For example, Australia, they allow you to use it in multiple labs under the same QMS, but that's very unique. Most countries still define it as used and, develop and used in that single lab. So that's why the second question, I'm not sure, because of that definition, right? I wouldn't say cross-border is even an option, because it's really highly restricted to that location and that developer, because, and that's why we say LDT status is more like an exemption status. You're exempted because the risk is under control and the impact is minimal. That's why you're exempted from the normal commercial IVD registration. But then if you really have interest in the market in APAC, I'd say I'd say more than half of the markets here still don't have really LDT regulation. So you are either commercial or you are RUO, or you're something in the gray zone that, there are a lot of things happening in the gray zone. So, but then for those which have already established LDT, I think the definition is more or less the same, except for China. It's very different. They are more like hospital developed tests instead of lab, because like a commercial independent labs are even not allowed to enter this market. Yeah, so don't know that if that helps.
Thanks, Yasha. Christine, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, just kind of going back to the breakthrough designation part as well. If I remember correctly, I don't believe LDT, CLIA